The Necrons have received a huge number of new model kits, new units that didn't exist before, and it's really fundamentally altered the army. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through maybe about 12 of the new units, or at least modified kits, and rank them from the ones you're going to see the most on the table to the ones you'll probably see the least. Absolutely. So let's go and do that. So I'm really excited to see this new model range. I'm buying every one of these, regardless of how good they are on the table. That has more to do with my sickness than to do with what is actually good here. We've got some rules here that we've written here. We're only going to go after units that are new in the codex,
right?
Not things that came out with Indominus. Indominus had some good things like the Scorpek Lord, the Scorpek Destroyer, but we're leaving that out. We're just doing things that are new with this book.
Yep, we have a pretty decent handle on the Indominus models in general. We've seen them, we played a ton of them, so we're just going to talk about the brand new stuff. So number one, you're going to see him all over the place. It is Mr. Silent King.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. One, he's just a really cool model, really interesting and powerful rules, and also, again, this is a very complicated army, and he kind of gives you a center to sort of build your force around and play it around. So
it's already an army that actually does really well blobbed up, and he multiplies it a lot, and he does everything, and he's so epic that everyone's going to want to have him. So we're definitely going to have him.
He's just one of those models that, like, even if you don't play this army, it comes out, and there's that moment where, like,
should I do Necrons?
Yeah. So he's definitely our #1 pick. You're going to see him a lot, and he's going to be great.
Yeah, and honestly, I pick armies around centerpieces, and this is such a great one. The next one is the Ophidian Destroyers. As we said, we're not talking about these Scorpek Destroyers. I actually like them a little bit better, but the Ophidian Destroyers have real combat punch, and they are faster, and they have deep strike and redeploy. Man, I'm really into it.
They're great, and especially those last two make them very useful in 9th edition. They're engaging on fronts, they're running onto objectives, they're killing things. Just really flexible and also really cool units. They're like combination of a couple of the coolest units where it's like it's a Wraith
and a Scorpek Destroyer.
And a Scorpek, and we're going to put them together and make this Ophidian thing.
And if you mix them with the, I think it's Novak for the +1 to charge, they deep strike, charge on an 8, then they redeploy, charge on an 8. Or they're just moving really fast and charging. I'm really into them. And even just a small 3-man squad is enough to do real damage. To imagine you've got a bunch of heavy intercessors. You got those 3 wounds, and I'm just hyperphase reap-blading them.
Oh my gosh.
Just reaping all your...
The 3 flat is super scary.
You need it.
It's all about flat 2, flat 3.
Yeah, so they've got it. So I'm really into them.
So having said that, another unit that's going to be very, very common is one that is already common, and I think it's just tough to get away from, right? It is the Chronomancer. This is the crypt tech that is all about slowing down time, and previously gave the 5-up invuln aura. You give it to 1 unit now, but honestly, it doesn't take up a troop slot. He's not that expensive, and it's just a very powerful buff.
It's especially if you're going for the couple big blobs. This is interesting because this one doesn't have to go in core, so you could put this one onto your Praetorians. I'm pretty sure, and so it's nice if you've got the big blob. I like playing with big blobs warriors. I think a lot of people do, and so you're going to still see that because the 5-up is still really useful.
I think it's better than ever, right? With all the other rules we've talked about in other videos, it's much better to run those big Silver Tide blobs.
One of the ones I'm really excited about is the new Heavy Destroyer, the Hexmark Heavy Destroyer, they're called. They had to give them all special names.
That's right.
So no, this isn't the Hexmark. I'm sorry, this is the Locust.
The Heavy Locust?
Heavy Locust. We'll talk about the Hexmark in a moment. This is the Locust Heavy Destroyer, and he has 2 new weapon profiles. One of them is 3d3 damage, and the other one's 3d3 shots and blast. And he's pretty pricey. He's at around 70 points.
He's a lot.
But there's a lot of reasons to do MSU for this army. And they play really well into that MSU build.
Especially talking about this idea that destroyers are already not getting core, they're not getting the rerolls. So having those 1-man units that are really kind of difficult to hit and they're easy to hide, so they're hard to find, things like that. You play the sight angles. Really interesting. They are expensive, but 3d3 damage.
It's cool, and it's strength 10, 1 shot. And they already re-roll their hit. You could pay to re-roll their wound. I'm into it. It's kind of cool. And the models look rad.
They're so cool.
They look so so metal.
They're so chunky, but like in a good way, right?
I really love it. The next one is another new crypt tech is the Technomancer. Now this is the one that buffs all Canoptic. So a lot of people still might want to play with their Canoptic armies. And this is a way to really boost them up and make them stronger. But it's also the one that's good at reviving troops. And so it revives a core model up to full health. That could be a Tomb Blade, for instance.
That's cool.
Right? So you just bring a Tomb Blade back. That's nice. And it can also bring back warriors a little easier. So I'm into it. It's actually pretty useful.
Yeah, I think it's great.
It might be a teeny bit pricey for its use, but Maybe not. I think we'll play it out.
It's one of those things, especially if you really like those units. I love Wraiths, and so it's like, well, if you want to run those, you want to bring this guy.
Yeah, because you need hitting on 3s with your Wraiths. The problem is they got to keep up with it. So that part you got to figure out.
That's going to take a lot of playtesting, I think, to decide, can you keep up? Is it worth it? Are you going to be playing the midfield enough? If you have a whole army of this, some of them will be hanging with them, some are going forwards. Lots of things to playtest. We have another crypt to talk about.
That's right.
This is the
Psychomancer.
The Psychomancer, which is actually one of the ones that we're most interested in its ability to actually turn off. It does many things, but the main thing is turn off OBSEC.
He's a little toolbox. Yes, I like his little toolbox, and he sounds like Psychomantis, which I love Metal Gear.
This is the really cool model too, with the the face. It's like all pixelated, like 3D pixels, like voxels. And so basically, you can pick an enemy unit within 12. You roll 3d6. If you exceed their leadership, you can do a buff, basically. You can turn off OBSEC, you can turn off Overwatch, first one much better than the second one.
Yeah.
And then you can also make them fight last. There's actually 4 abilities, huh?
And there's the ability to half advance
in charge.
And then he has an aura of minus leadership and stuff. So he's got lots and lots and lots of rules, but they're all super low range.
Yeah, they're low range, which makes most of them pretty bad. Yeah. Right? You're gonna, if you're half charged,
when they work, they work.
Yeah. The turning off OBSEC is a huge thing.
Yeah, turning off OBSEC is the key ability, I think.
Exactly.
The next one is a model that I'm so excited to own. It's the Void Dragon.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome lore, awesome model. He's a bad man on the table too, especially if he's up against vehicles. He really does work against enemy vehicles, and there's a lot more vehicles in the game. So I think you're going to do a lot of work with him. The one thing I hate about him is I hate that how much of a baby he makes the other ones look like. So like the Deceiver and the Nightbringer and even the Transcendent, they all look like puny little babies compared to him.
I'm glad they didn't get rid of the models, but at the same time, I totally get it, right? Like,
what would be a new Nightbringer at that size?
Oh my gosh,
it would be so epic. Get on it, Games Workshop.
Get to it.
Put it to the top of the list. That's all we want.
In the meantime, just buy Mortarion and convert him up.
Not a bad idea, actually.
Then, of course, we have a classic model that has seen very little play in the last edition, the Monolith. Yeah. Just really cool. Did get a lot better. You can take the death rays on them now.
Yeah, so it comes with the new war gear. It doesn't just take this Gauss weapon, or it also gets the death rays, and the death rays are hugely upgraded. They cost a lot more points, so you're paying for it. It's not free or anything.
No, exactly.
It also fights like a monster now.
It's so scary.
I think it's 6 attacks. Auto hit, flat 3 damage. That Portal of Exile is a real boss now. Where before, I think you had to charge it.
Yes. Remember last time we played it, you're like, okay, it does this, but only if you charge me. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stand here. Yeah. But now he just like scoops heavy intercessors like through his portal. And
That's
gone,
right. They're just gone.
It's great.
And he still has the teleport abilities. The one thing I dislike is they made him a Lord of War choice. So you're gonna have to pay for that super heavy auxiliary detachment.
Right.
So that'll cost you 3 CP. But just take the Silent King and get those 3 CP back.
Perfect.
Turn that frown upside down.
Exactly. Another one is this trend that we're seeing of terrain in 40K. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of terrain. Even if you aren't going to be playing it on the table, I want to get it. I want to get it too.
I'll use it just as terrain.
Exactly. Well, honestly, this is on this list because it's a really cool piece of terrain. The rules are not the best. By the way, it's called the Convergence of Dominion, which is choice. All it does is -2 leadership and
+2 leadership,
or +2 leadership on your Necrons, which is, to be fair, right? You can no longer ignore leadership. That
Immortal Pride doesn't actually ignore leadership anymore.
It kind of does something, but it's nothing to write home about. But it's just like a gorgeous.
It has a bit of shooting, but you know, it's nothing. I don't think I'd go for it, especially you got to get the detachment. And
I wish I don't want it to be an auto include like in Sigmar, but I would definitely want it to be at least a choice.
So another thing down here at the bottom of the list is the Hexmark, and he is your little gunslinger, and he's like, okay, he's cool. He basically has like 6 shots, and every time he kills a model, he shoots again. Very similar to the Callimorph, except just worse.
Because he only has to hit to get an extra shot.
That's true, and he has 2 damage.
We were talking about
and he has a cowboy hat.
We're gonna duel.
So I think that's we should do a duel. I think he's cool, but I'm gonna have a hard time making him work.
I don't get him at all. Like he's for me the single biggest disappointment because I love the model. He's so cool. And his rules are just so terrible. Like, why are he has so many arms, but the pistols are still only 1 shot, so it's still not that many shots.
Yeah, and it's like AP 1 damage.
I'm so utterly baffled by that guy.
At least give him a relic. At least give him a relic or something.
I know. So that's really weird.
Yeah. So the very bottom of the list today is the Plasmancer. I have the Plasmancer, so we're including him in the list, even though he came in Dominus. He's not good. He dishes out a few mortal wounds. and he's got that pointy finger from from
got
that
the
meme
meme finger?
the meme
Yeah.
figure. So maybe that should put him higher in the list.
Right.
But that's the main thing he's got going for him, and I just discovered it. So.
Yeah. Just putting Invisivis, everything else, he's not good.
Yeah. So that's our ranking of the units you'll see the most to the least from the new units.
Yeah.
Some of these units are going to be in so many armies, and some of them you will, like, they're dead already. You're never going to see them.
I know.
Like, good luck seeing a Plasmancer.
It is funny, though, because even when we get towards the bottom of the list, like, we're still excited because they're so gorgeous.
The
and
models
then,
are amazing.
Actually, we're on, like, the 8 out of 10, like, the bottom of the pile, but, like, they're still so cool.
Yeah, you're going to see them on this channel.
Yeah.
But you're definitely not going to see them in anyone's, like, this is my competitive serious army or something like that.
So hopefully this was helpful. Again, we're going to be doing massive coverage of this. If you haven't seen our other videos, definitely check it out. We're going to be trying all the new models over the following weeks.
Yeah, as soon as they come out, we paint them up.
The moment they're here, they're like, we're not even going to sleep probably, right?
That's right.
So we have massive coverage. If you did enjoy this, please do like and subscribe, share with your friends. And also, we now have our Titans Pro service where you can actually pay $5 a month. Become a Titan today. You get lots of additional services, new videos. You get our special access to channels within our Discord where you can actually vote on upcoming content, armies, lists, things like that. Tons of things.
Yeah.
And some tasty emotes.
Yeah, it's a great way to join our community.
Yeah.
Some cool emotes and really just be part of the club. Really don't miss out on any of the other covers. Tons of Necron stuff coming up if you're a big fan. So we'll see you next time.